everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Good Enough Gaming Podcast. Thank you for joining us after last week's Cage-isode. We're glad you came back.
We're impressed that you did.
Yeah, good for you.
Thanks for going through that with us.
Yeah. Thank you for humoring me, in case you were just curious. This week's episode is entitled Choose Your Own Misadventure. It's that spooky time of year again. You know, taxes. We all know by now how hard it is to get both Trevor and I to play a scary game. But we made an exception. And it wasn't just for anyone, it was for a very important man in our lives who goes by the name of Bruce Campbell. In all seriousness, we're here today to talk about the Quarry and the Anthology series of interactive storytelling games and the Evil Dead game. We really bogged down on the scary theme for a bit, and I know you guys are proud of us for...
we are so proud of you.
So proud.
So proud. As well, we have a special giveaway coming up later, so stick around and be aware of that.
Make sure you check out our Instagram. It's about to go down.
It's popping off, son.
All the goodies.
The boomstick. All right. So I think we're going to start with Evil Dead because Bruce Campbell is a national treasure, and he lent his likeness. What's that?
So we didn't play it as much.
No, we didn't. So we got a few rounds in and decided it wasn't for us. But
as much as the boys liked Bruce Campbell,
yeah, and the fact that you could play
the game.
Yeah, you could play every iteration of Bruce Campbell from every Evil Dead game,
which is awesome.
Which was awesome, and plus a bunch of like different NPCs. They had class mechanics to each of them, which was cool. The game itself, I'm glad I didn't pay money for.
Yep, I
can see though that. If you were one of those people that likes those games, like I can't remember even the other ones, like the 4v1
Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight, like the 4v1 survival co-op multiplayer stuff. I could see how you could like that because compared to those, this game had so many fucking mechanics.
Oh my god.
And like the leveling system and everything. Like that was the part that I think like got to us was like we finished one or two rounds, we're like, oh, I'm at half of level 1.
Yeah.
And then you go into the skill sheet and there's like 80 fucking levels.
Yeah, it was very
overwhelming.
For every character and for every bad guy. Like there was so much stuff.
Yeah. It was almost too much.
I don't know how long it would take to fill that tree, but I don't think
anyone has done it.
No.
Well, that's the issue with these 4v1 games is they are a live service game. They are hoping that this is all you play. This is it. You know, you're going to pour hundreds of hours into it to see what this game has to offer. But I mean, that's just not the case. Dead by Daylight has cornered that market, and everybody else that's tried to compete against them has failed. And the game has been shut down after like a year or two, almost every single one.
This was a good attempt. It was a nice take. Obviously, they've had like the recent Evil Dead movie. There's a new one coming out. There was the Ash vs. Evil Dead show.
Yeah.
Like, I understand what they're trying to cash in on. It's one of like the OG horror, like campy horror movies. But yeah, I don't know. It just didn't quite work the way you wanted it to. It was a bit janky still, even after it's been out for a couple months.
Yeah, so I actually, from a gameplay side, I actually enjoy this more than Dead by Daylight. Like it has a little more third person action. You know, you can go in with melee weapons and just start swinging. and feel like you're doing something. You feel like you're enjoying yourself a little bit.
I also love the random weapons, like
oh yeah,
the needles,
shovel,
and
yeah. So I mean that's cool. I commend them for trying something different and making it feel a little bit more fun. But I think we all said at different points in our playthrough, like, what the fuck are we supposed to be doing? Where are we going?
Like the tutorial was there, and it was important, and obviously we tried to rush through it as quick as possible so that we could just play the game together and then be confused together, which is on brand, everyone. That is very on brand for us. But there are points that just didn't really make sense to me. I've seen a couple of Evil Dead movies, but I was still like, why? Like, what? Like, what are we doing? What is the point of this?
They definitely added in some lore to add steps.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a couple extra steps. Or like, we're going to go into the lore a bit deeper, try and add a few more tasks so you can spend more time running around, like doing stuff, having interactions with the bad guy, leveling up, doing stuff like that. So,
I still think the funniest one was when we actually played against Trevor.
Oh my god!
Oh fuck, that was hilarious.
And like we can all hear each other talking, and like Trevor can hear us.
Nobody was on board. Like nobody had a good plan. We were all over the map, and Trevor just like basically divided and conquered, like just by summoning enough things, and just I got lit up by Trevor. I got absolutely destroyed.
System. Yeah, once I got that leveling system, I was like, oh, I can just keep summoning people, and you're all fucked. Because that was the thing I found is in comparison being the hunters or whatever you want to call them. Like I found that the pop or whatever the hell it is, the P points or the pink crystals you need to level up as a character. I never found any.
No, they were hard to find.
I went to every like point of interest. I tried to go through every building. It's like I couldn't find fucking anything except for some occasional random weapons, and that was it.
Yeah, trying to find just like small collectibles and ingredients and all that stuff. None of that was easy.
Even ammo. I was like, man, I got like a decent gun, and then I couldn't find ammo for the one gun that I picked up in our second session. I couldn't find ammo until like the 7th house we checked. That was the right ammo for that gun.
Yeah. It felt a lot like a house looting simulator for a while. Definitely. Given our track record, I'm okay with that. But just trying to find the rare and epic guns and stuff and weapons. Just you spent a lot of time digging through houses, and then you're like, oh shit, I need to do this thing before the storm or whatever catches us.
It was a more interesting PUBG, for me. Like
basically.
The cars were hilarious.
No,
I found too. Like,
awful.
I'm glad that it was like
horribly.
Yeah.
I got stuck in a tree.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, you did.
Like this is like if anyone's played Warzone, like if you remember Warzone first week, no one knew how to drive vehicles and they would get hung up on all of that shit. I literally drove a car straight up a tree and it got stuck. And I was sitting there for like a minute just laughing, and you guys were wondering where I was. I was like, I'm
stuck in a tree.
My car is humping a tree and I can't get down.
Nice.
Yeah, I think my issue with these games is, I don't know, maybe I've yet to find like the outside dressing of the game that's something that interests me. Like I don't have the connection to Evil Dead that you guys do. Like every time you guys talk about Bruce Campbell and Evil Dead, I feel like I'm Ben Wyatt in Parks and Rec with Lil Sebastian, where everybody's like, where everybody's like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen, and he's just sitting there going, I don't get it. It's a tiny horse. Like, is that it? Is that all it is? So
Lil Sebastian's a goddamn treasure. You shut your whore mouth.
So I love, the gameplay. While it was better, there still just isn't that hook. Like as soon as we finished playing, I think I deleted it. I was like, yeah, we're not going to go back to that.
I think we all deleted it. We're like, are we deleting?
I deleted it. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Dead by Daylight's the closest, but I don't think anyone's perfected how that game like that game loop works yet.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know, just the grindiness factor of it too. Like I don't think and like not playing with friends would not be fun.
Getting yelled at over the mic by some like sweat kid who's like that's all they play. I'm just like, I'm not here for that. Yeah, I'm not here for you telling me the ultimate strategy of beating this game every time.
Yeah.
The best way to get pink crystals is to go through this area. And
it's like, okay.
Yeah, you need this exact build with this character, otherwise you're going to be fucking useless. Yeah, no,
Mom, toilet.
Like, why can't we just have an Evil Dead action adventure game? Like, give me a story.
That's what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, like if there was a story game in that universe, I would be interested in checking it out.
You've got zombies, you've got third-person shooting.
Yep.
There's
all there.
plenty there to work with.
for that
You've
type
got
of
chainsaw
game.
hands.
Yeah. It's perfect for that. And that was my hope originally when they announced it. I was like, oh shit, they're making an Evil Dead game. And I watched the trailers and stuff. I was like, oh fuck.
Oh, that's too bad.
You idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't you seen everyone has tried this and failed?
But you know what? Well, we tried it. We were curious. We tried it.
Gave it the old college try, guys, and well, it just didn't do it.
Nope. So we're gonna move on from that. We're gonna take an early segment break.
Whoa!
Whoa! We're gonna jump into a dad reviews, and then we're gonna come back and talk about choose your own consequences games.
Papa! Papa! Papa!
Dad review.
Papa!
Dad review.
Dad
The Evil Dead game.
Evil Dad. Evil Dead game, don't play it. No, but actually this week I'm gonna jump into what I thought was a beloved franchise from my youth. And I played a recent one that came out for free on one of the services, and I hated it. Every fucking second of it. It got so fucking ridiculous so quick, and I'm just like, I don't have time for this shit. I quit. Of course, I'm talking about Devil May Cry 5.
No, get out of here.
I got literally 30 minutes into it, and I was like, this is so fucking convoluted and stupid. I don't care.
Wow.
And quit and deleted it. I was like, I'm not here for trying to do these like 100 move intricate controller combos. Like, I don't care.
Give me a true hack and slash, hey? Just a couple buttons.
Well, not even that. Like,
Let me mash.
I can combo decently, but like it seemed like it got really repetitive really quick. And then I remembered that that's what the Devil May Cry games were. I just had like nostalgia goggles. So I don't recommend it unless you are really into like Japanese vibe games.
I think Jordan's crying inside right now.
He's crying outwardly. I can see it. I see a little tear. Just
one tear.
It's honestly one of the best action games from the PS4 generation.
Oh,
the story and the ending of that game is phenomenal.
You're witnessing it, people. Good. True contention on the Good Enough Gaming podcast.
Honestly, I think I even recommended it to Kyle, and in the back of my mind, I was like, it's going to be too Japanime for him. Like, it's just going to be too strange. There's going to be too much weird Japan stuff. And here we are.
What was the last one you played, Kyle?
3? 2?
I mean,
3?
3 is considered the best in the series from a lot of people. It's not. I like 4 and 5 definitely got. They leaned way more into the JRPG stuff, like Final Fantasy, getting super Japanime stuff. And then like the DMC game was just a complete fuckery of that series where they went super goth punk, and That was terrible.
I think I played that one too. I feel like I played that one. But anyways, it didn't do it for me.
Happens.
It does. Dads, skip it unless you're really into, as Jordan puts it, Japanese type things. Japanime. Afghanistanimation.
It's Afghanistanimation.
Now, moving back to our main section tonight, we actually got a chance and we're motivated to play a game together.
Yes.
All the way through.
Reunited and it feels so good.
Now, play is kind of an operative word there because, I mean, Jordan
There's not a lot of gameplay.
No, there's not, and I think that's where I struggled a bit. But it's essentially like a choose your own reaction game.
Yep.
Yes.
Where you make choices or like slight stick presses in a direction to dodge things,
which you missed half of because you were playing Marvel Snap.
Yeah. You were on your phone.
About that.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed the story overall, but I found that there wasn't enough direct interaction and it lost my attention.
At parts, for sure.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Quarry.
Yeah.
Yes, we were talking
about the game, the Quarry.
I guess I should introduce the game, eh?
Which Jordan and I have been really excited about for a long time because I keep seeing that stuff, and I've played lots of Telltale games, and I really enjoyed like the chill vibes of those games and just like the detective aspect and finding clues and putting things together. I do enjoy that from time to time. Trevor's wife, Carolyn, can attest to that style of Nancy Drew-esque gameplay, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I would say this is even less intense than Nancy Drew, though.
This was super simple.
Yeah.
This is a very simple game. Choose your own adventure style. There's only ever two choices. It's like most of the times it was be a dickhead or be a nice person to like your fellow camp leaders and stuff.
Yeah.
In the midst of this pseudo werewolf crisis that's happening, that their
spoilers
summer camp just ended, and they don't know what's going on.
Monster werewolf reveal was actually pretty fucking cool.
That was dope.
Yeah.
I do remember like that part in in the bunkhouse where she shoots him and his skin just
his skin explodes.
All of our reactions were just like, oh shit.
Yeah, it was good.
That's a fresh take on werewolves, which is good.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
This was a game too where like all our significant others were sitting there watching too. Like you could hear Carolyn's reactions in the background because it was hilarious.
She was getting stressed sometimes.
Yeah, so good.
I think that's my biggest takeaway for this is like, this is a game, if you like horror, like it'd be interesting to see if they do more of these in different genres. I guess like a lot of people.
I'd love to see like a sci-fi one.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people do like horror lends itself to this of like, you made a bad decision, now you die, right?
Yeah.
You have X number of characters that you can kill off throughout the game. But I thought that was really good because this was a game that's like, oh, I'm going to go grab a snack. Just hand the controller to Carolyn, like who half paying attention, right? It's just like, oh, I can stay involved. Or if you have someone in your life that maybe doesn't play video games at all, like they can very easily play this game.
Totally.
Yes. Yeah, it's an interactive story. Like you're watching. I felt like I was just getting to choose parts of a movie. Like as we're going through.
And there's actually a movie mode in it where you can choose either like everyone dies or everyone lives, and it plays it out for you.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Didn't Netflix try that? Didn't Netflix?
Yes, and I watched that thing. Yeah. I watched one of the movies where you get to choose. It starts with like the guy's cereal, and like everything changes from there. Like essentially.
Right.
Yeah,
like that's how I've explained this genre to people. Is it's an interactive movie. Like I don't even explain it as a game because, to Kyle's point, there's not a lot of gameplay in these, and so it's very simple. The stories are pretty unique and inventive though, and like you get to see some, there's some maybe not well-known actors, but like familiar faces.
Yeah.
For some of them, where you'll be like, hey, isn't that the person from that like TV show?
That's David Arquette.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it's cool to see some of that stuff in there.
That was the funniest one, because obviously Dave Arquette's been in so many like older horror movies. And when we first started playing, Carolyn walked into the room. She's like, "Did you know that's David Arquette?"
Yeah. Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Yes, these are all real people.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that because of the way the storyline goes and everything, there's 186 different endings?
Wow.
That makes sense with like the different variations of who lived and who died.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So is it 186 possible like variations of the ending? Like because really it's just like this person lived, this person didn't. You
saved
like
this person, you
the
didn't.
end scene with all the little like, you're playing fucking Breakfast Club music in the back while they flash to the person, be like, this person went on to be a janitor. This guy became a senator, right? Like,
nice.
We did so good for so long, but then we mucked up right on our last
there was a couple night. They asked a couple trick questions too, where you really had to be paying attention. We were like, oh shit, I shouldn't have gone in the water because we
shouldn't have swam across the fucking lake.
Yeah.
That was the funniest one, because usually everything else has like has an effect like later on, like when we shot the one werewolf guy in the cage, and then it ended up just like not being able to attack the other guy once we opened up the locks, like in the mansion.
But it ended up being someone.
But it ended up being one of the people that we were trying to save once we fucked up.
Spoilers, by the way, folks.
Yeah, whatever. We spoil everything on this episode. They're not ready for
always do. Yeah.
You're an idiot. No, I'm just kidding. But the one where we swam from the island back to the main island, that had to have been the funniest death of a character, because it was immediate. Like it had an immediate drawback, and I was like, that is so funny.
Well, isn't it the consequences of my actions?
Well, it's so funny, because if you really pay attention, because while we chose that, the whole time Carolyn was yelling at me. She's like, "No, there's no one left on the island. He's the
only one."
Yeah, she's yelling. She's like, "No, the werewolves are on the other side. Like, what are you doing?" I'm like, "No, it's fine."
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, find the rest of the people.
Yeah, she's like, "Fucking told you." Like, gets on the dock, 1 second, dead.
Yeah. Immediately chewed to death.
Yeah.
God, that was funny. I laughed pretty hard at that. I thought that was a defining moment for us.
Oh yeah.
No, the one thing I do wish they did more in the game, I wish they made more use of, like, I would call it like semi-horror mechanics of like battery. There's many moments of this story where they talk about charging your phones, like your camp counselors, your phones have been turned off for weeks.
Yeah.
They make a huge deal about charging your phones, and they use them to take a couple photos of evidence and shit like that. But I would have loved parts where you're like in the dark using your phone as a flashlight.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to use your battery to see what you're doing, or are you going to save it for something later? Like, there's a couple consequential actions I wish they included more for.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I do. I like that.
I think too, like, this game, while I really enjoyed it and I had a lot of fun, like, I didn't think it was that scary. And I think part of that is because we did play as a group and we're riffing and joking about a lot of stuff. But like, there weren't nearly as many jump scares as I thought there would be. There wasn't like, there was a lot of tension building, but it never really like paid off with a big scare or something. No. And I was always expecting there to be like this really big scare, and there really wasn't.
No, they would just occasionally throw in like the hag lady, like just like peeking out of the corner of the screen, right? She'd be like, "Oh, hi!"
Yeah, that actually
disappear.
I won't lie, the hag break at every chapter, that might have been my favorite part of the whole game.
Yeah,
yeah.
She was creepy. That was our crypt keeper, weird lady,
storyteller person. Yeah,
just. Like how she talked, the motions of her mouth, like just her eyes were kind of wonky. Like she might be part chameleon, I'm not sure, but like through the looking glass like ball, like where you get your next clue and the tarot cards, and like that was my favorite part of the game. Like,
and the tarot cards really ramped up, like that one where we found 3, and it's like, oh shit, which one do we pick to kind of see what it's going to predict, right? Like,
it's a cool mechanic for you to have to search the areas, right? Like, because there isn't a lot of like gameplay-y stuff, you know, the moments where you actually control the character to walk around this space, it was like, oh shit, like I need to actually explore this area, because if I don't find these tarot cards, I'm not going to get a hint or a preview on potentially how to save this character down the line.
Right.
I would have liked to have had more like actionable, like scary parts during those exploration things, like opening something up. And
you wanted more scary stuff.
Okay, like I would have found it more engaging.
If I'm already here signed up for it, like might as well fucking do it. Like I don't need to watch like the scariest movie in the world, but like this was kind of this was like
it was fun. It was like a campy
out of
camp
10,
counselor.
This is like a 3, right?
Yeah.
Like I'll take up to like I'll take a 5 or a 6, but this was like a 2 or a 3.
Yeah.
I also wish I didn't have Resident Evil 1 walking.
Oh my god! Yeah,
watching Jordan try to steer this like PS1 era person in 3D was hard.
Yeah, so the movement mechanics suck dick, and then the Resident Evil camera switching, going from like room to room or like hallway to hallway, was painful. It was so bad.
And we just sat there pointing at little spots on the screen.
Yeah, so Jordan ran the game for us. So there's only like one person gets to host the game, and they're the only ones that get to control the people when it comes to that break. And the rest of us, Kyle, Trevor, and myself, we got to just use like a cursor essentially, and you just press X and click, like then your name shows up being like, look here. And which would be handy if you weren't mic'd up with your group and you were doing a group play or whatever. Like,
also, if the
go
cursor
over here.
If the cursor wasn't on the slowest fucking setting in the world, by the time you get to where you want to point, the camera's
already in the other room. Like,
and it doesn't point to the physical object. It literally just puts like a spot on your screen. So if the camera moves, it's just like pointing at nothing now. Yeah, and it was like, well, that didn't help anybody.
Like, it's a good thing that we were mic'd up, because I think for the first like chapter or 2, you guys tried to use that thing, and then after that, it was like, yeah, fuck it, I'm just gonna yell at my mic like, hey, you know, look at that, like look under the drawer, look over there.
It's way better if we can talk to each other.
Go back, you dumbass.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
No, it's way better talking to each other. And I agree. Like maybe this game is a little scary if you play it by yourself. I have no idea, but we just didn't stop making jokes the whole time. So like
you didn't stop making jokes the whole time.
I didn't stop making jokes.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
There was some good ones. That was fun.
It's and like if you're looking for a weekend, you know, just to spend with a group of friends and essentially watch a movie, because that's what you're doing. Like these are fun for that sort of stuff.
It'd be a good couch co-op.
It really reminded me of like
this is
watching
a great couch
shitty
co-op
movie with you guys. Yeah. It reminded me of watching a shitty movie with you guys and just like taking monkey shots at a picture show.
Yeah.
As Pierce would say.
Yes.
The one thing that I wish was different, and maybe like, so our plan for listeners, because we've now played this together, these developers have made, I think, 5 other games that are all in kind of this realm of gameplay, but they're in different settings. So we're going to go back.
One of 5.
Yeah. So we're gonna
the other ones
try
are
and
Anthology.
replay them. Yeah. So we're gonna go back and play them.
The other 4 is Little Hope, House of Ashes, The Devil in Me, and Man of Medan, and that is a anthology. Those 4.
Yeah, and so we've got Man of Medan and Little Hope we've got downloaded. We're going to check both of those out. The original game that they debuted as a developer in this style was Until Dawn. If anybody has heard of that one. that game was honestly scary. That one scared the shit out of me multiple times. Like that game was really good. And they had a cool mechanic when the monster was in the room where you had to hold your controller completely still. Otherwise, the monster would sense that you were there and you made noise. And so I remember at the end,
Kyle.
I remember at the end of that game, I had to put my controller on my coffee table and like.
I was going to say, can you just cheat and put it on the couch?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to at the end because there was no way that I was not going to be moving that thing all over the fucking place.
They could also make use of, like, in this game, in the Quarry, you had to like hold X to hold your breath and stuff like that. I think because in previous games, I know there's the mechanic where you can like blow into the mic to make wind and stuff. I think
I thought the same thing. I was like, man, this would be dope
if you had to personally like hold your breath or just shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
because like we're chatting the whole time, and they're like, "No, everyone shut up." Be like, "Oh shit, that would have been a great mechanic too."
Yeah,
that would be cool.
The same company, Supermassive, is actually making a VR game. Get the fuck out!
So they've done. Awesome. This will be their second one. So the first one was an on rails game in the Until Dawn universe. Mm-hmm. So it was in that same setting of Until Dawn, but you were on like a little like roller coaster ride through this horror
Pokemon
show.
Snap.
Yeah. So that one looked kind of cool, and then they're coming out with another VR dedicated horror game. So
that's
like
sick.
They're all in on this stuff, and they actually do a really good job, I think.
I thought visually stunning game.
Except for the one girl
with the mouth.
Her mouth was
one girl with the weird
some
mouth.
Weird stuff. But like visually, really, really solid. I thought.
Yeah.
The people looked great. They looked.
The mocap was awesome.
Yeah, and like even some of the scenery stuff I thought was pretty good, pretty picturesque, pretty beautiful. It's a pretty polished game. There wasn't any bugs. There was no issues.
Yeah, didn't have any game crashes or anything like that.
My only gripe was that Jordan was the only one that got trophies when we played through because he was the only host.
Yeah,
bullshit.
That was bullshit.
So I've got three complaints. So on that note, the first being no trophies. I think it's stupid that you guys don't get trophies for playing. That seems unfair. I thought and hoped that every chapter somebody else would take control. So like I finished chapter 1, now chapter 2 it randomly goes to like Trevor. So now Trevor has to control the character and all this. And then the other thing that I didn't like was, so like being the host, you're like the wolf pack leader. My vote trumped everybody else's
every time.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if 66% of people chose one and I chose the other, it would pick mine. Like,
or if
you could choose to be part of the democratic process, or you can be a dictator asshole. And that, like there was a little bit of both in our game.
A little bit.
Yeah, that was,
but like
that was my biggest.
Yeah, like I really hoped that it would just go off of percentages, or if it was like a 50-50 split, then it's completely randomized, and we have no idea.
I think Kyle was also hoping for that because he also tried to sewer the characters quite a bit.
From time to time.
A couple times.
See what happens.
I mean, worst case is like if it was a split, then if you are the deciding vote. But when there was somewhere it's like if we voted 75% the other way and you're like, nah, I don't feel like doing that. And you just did something else, I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks. Like,
the
group
we voted on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that. So I'm curious when we go back to play the other ones. Like, I'm curious if that's the same in those, or if maybe they changed that in the Quarry.
Yeah, I wonder if that's different in any of the new ones.
Yeah, because like the Wolfpack game mode didn't launch with the Quarry. Like, there was no co-op gameplay for that beyond couch co-op when it first came out.
Okay.
So I'm curious if, maybe they kind of made some tweaks with some of the older games like Man of Medan or something like that.
I definitely wouldn't. I would tell people don't play this co-op with like random people.
No, do not.
Because that would probably be annoying and shitty. But if you couch co-op or if you got like friends, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever, get with your friends, get your headsets on.
Yeah.
Way fun, way more fun,
Way funnerist.
way funnerist.
even if you had like Trevor mentioned this earlier, but like even if you have a significant other that doesn't play video games at all, and you're like, hey, do you want to sit down and like watch this? Yeah, watch a scary
Experience
movie
this with me.
Do you want to experience this 10-hour movie with me?
Oh my god.
I mean, did you want to do this? Did you want to watch 10 episodes of Netflix? Like,
Yeah.
It's the same shit, right? You can split it up into a couple nights, right? A couple chapters every night, so which is what we did.
There were some chapters that felt really long.
Yeah, there was
a couple felt like long.
A couple felt really long. A couple were super short.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was 12 chapters or 10 chapters?
It was 10 or 12.
Yeah.
I don't remember now.
It was at least 10.
But like
10.
it only took us 8 hours. So to give people an idea, like it's not terrible. You could definitely finish it in 3 days, 4 days. Like it's not bad at all.
No.
And we were thorough. You could probably do this in 7 hours.
Aside from doing collectibles.
Yeah, aside from doing replays to like get all of the trophies, I think we got every piece of evidence that you could.
Yep.
Right? Like we found everything.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
we found all the evidence.
Aside from replaying chapters, doing anything like that because you wanted to see the different outcomes, like we did everything at least once.
Yeah.
My only other gripe is the fucking push your stick this way or press X.
Yeah.
The pictures on the screen that they give you to do that,
same.
they look so freaking similar, and the stick looks like it's just
looks like the circle button.
Looks like the circle button. So I'm just like, so I'm hitting circles, and I'm like, oh shit! But once you learn that there's literally you either are hitting the stick in a direction or hitting X. Those are your two things you have to do.
Yeah, that's all you're doing. Yeah,
one-handed game.
Never at the same time. Yeah, you can play this with one hand easily.
I definitely failed the first couple
hitting circle
stick movements because I was hitting circle. Yeah,
me too. I couldn't figure out like how did we fail that?
Yeah. It's like, oh, you guys. Yeah, I was like, oh, it's a movement. Oh,
yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
I'm curious to play the other ones now.
I am too. I'm actually looking forward to it because that's also like when we play games together, and I know some people will feel this way, but it's like if you don't see your friends all the time and in person, and you're like looking for those games where you can chill and chat and just like feel like you're in the same room and just chilling and gaming. Like this gave me vibes from like when I was a kid. Like, when I was in high school and the guys would come over when you'd play whatever, like this reminds me of that type where we literally had the opportunity to shoot the shit and talk about the game or whatever else was going on and just laugh and poke fun at like certain parts. And I had a good time for the social aspect.
When Diablo 4 comes out and we play through the story the first time, everyone's shutting the fuck up during like cutscenes and stuff.
Cutscenes. Yeah, no, we're not skipping that.
No.
But
I will read the dialogue for the first while in that game, so you're gonna have to be patient.
You're gonna have to wait.
I'm on board.
Slow down.
I'm on board. This is the first Diablo game in like 12 years. So.
Yeah, honestly, one of my favorite things in this game was the fact that we were able to play all together, but
play a game together again.
Even adding in significant others, like being able to hear everybody on there, and like Carolyn stressing the fuck out, like to hear how stressed out she was made it funnier and more enjoyable for me. Like it's a really cooperative experience, and that's what I really enjoyed about it. Like if any,
now, I was gonna say right now the landscape of multiplayer gaming is like Call of Duty, Fortnite, or nothing. Like, Yeah.
And like
And-
game developers, can we stop with the 3-player co-op bullshit? Like, if you're gonna do more than 2 players, can
Do
you
it
just
4.
make it 4?
Yeah.
Make it 4 to 8.
Yeah. Like, if like
Make
why
this a
3?
multi-tap game.
Yeah, this is so stupid.
Give me Jackbox Party Pack. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I just wanted to recommend a couple other games in this genre for anybody that's maybe even played the Quarry and they're like, and they really enjoyed it and are looking for other ones. Daryl mentioned it. Telltale is probably the most well known. They definitely created this genre.
Yeah.
With the Walking Dead series, which was phenomenal. They also did Telltale. They did a Batman game. They did 2 of them, which again,
Both of them are great.
They did a bunch of Borderlands ones too.
Yeah, Tales from the Borderlands. There's actually a recent one of that just came out within the last year or 2.
Yeah.
So like those are all great. They've got a lot of good humor in them. Gameplay wise, they're pretty much on par with the Supermassive ones. They're just a more like comic book art style. They're not like photorealistic.
Not as realistic. Yeah.
But if you're looking for a more photorealistic game, Kyle mentioned sci-fi. The developer Quantic Dream, they did a game a couple years back called Detroit Become Human.
I forgot about that.
Cool. Yeah, I heard about that game.
Yeah, which is basically iRobot, but turned into a interactive movie.
Mm-hmm.
That game is fantastic. As far as like top tier, choose your own adventure type games, Detroit Become Human is probably my first one in this genre.
Okay.
It looks phenomenal. It plays phenomenal. More of your choices have consequences. Like, it matters what you choose more of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like the music is great. Motion capture is really good. So that's definitely the one that I would recommend the most. It's probably pretty cheap. It might even be on like a service or something.
Nice.
But
the other one I remember, I think from the same people that's older. If you want to be a detective, there was it Heavy Rain?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was their first one that they did.
That one was like pretty fucked up too. Like that was.
What was that?
So the story's really good. It does not hold up well. They remastered it and it was free, I think, on PS Plus for a little bit. And I tried to go back and play it and I made it like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The gameplay does not hold up well at all in that.
And I mean, there was also like that, like if you like detective-y games, there was also like LA Noire.
Yeah.
I remember playing that, like Doubt. I mean, it was all right for like a detective. It was like a third person GTA vibes kind of game, but you're like trying to suss out evidence and stuff. And it was.
I like that stuff.
Yeah.
It's good for time to time.
Yeah.
But,
if you want more of a chill game, laid back.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure as we go through the next few, Man of Medan and what was the other one?
Little Hope.
I'm sure we'll come back with another supermassive anthology update. See how that goes. Maybe Trevor and I will make it through the whole thing. Maybe we will quit.
I'll force myself through. If we're playing together, it'll be easier.
It's less scary in a group.
I'm not playing by myself. Yeah.
Nope.
Maybe we'll do an episode just on the anthology as a whole. We'll pick our favorite ones and
once the rest of the first anthology
coming October to a Spirit Halloween.
Yeah. We love your games, but we don't want to pay
for it.
Perfect. I'm kind of paying for it. I pay for the service.
Because the Quarry is on PS, just basic PS Plus for this month, right? Or last month?
Last month. So hopefully you grabbed it and put it in your library so you can play now. But
Yeah, and
But
then
Man of Medan and Little Hope are free right now.
Are free.
on
they're
on
on
extra.
and they're on extra.
Yeah.
So if anyone
Yep.
in the PlayStation world wants to give them a try, they are there.
They're
Give it a try.
free dollars.
Free darling.
If it's free, it's
So-
for me.
I agree.
Yep.
I think that just about wraps it up for us here. Hopefully everyone had a good enough time. Hopefully you make good choices and you
We all survived. We made it.
react to the quick time events appropriately.
Don't swim across the lake. Whatever you do,
Stay on the island.
stay.
Stay on the island.
If you're on the lonely island, don't get
It's a
on
good
a
place
boat.
to be. Yeah. Thanks again for tuning in, and we hope you had a good enough time.
Good enough.
It's good enough.
Good enough. Werewolf in London. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at GEG Podcast. Check out our website, goodenoughgaming.com, and write us an email about anything from our episodes or something you would like us to discuss in the future. You can also now join us on Discord on the Good Enough Gaming Discord server. We really appreciate you listening and hope you continue to join us on this epic adventure of discussing all things gaming and nerdy. Please subscribe to the Good Enough Gaming podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever else you listen to your podcasts, and rate us 5 stars so we can find more good enoughers in the process. Just remember, we might not be great, but we are good enough.